As a teacher of English, as a teacher of English as a foreign language, without a special training in helping students with different learning differences, difficulties, how much can I help? What are the three things I can do?
Well, I suppose the first thing to say is that most of us, English language teachers, don't get a lot of training initially in terms of supporting learners who have specific learning differences or any other learning needs. It's not really it wasn't part of my teacher training. So one thing that teachers can do is find out more, so we need to get informed. Another thing we can do is find out about the students, get to know our students, get to know them, what they're good at and what they find difficult, and also find out what kind of skills and talents they have outside the classroom, which we could maybe bring into the classroom. And the other thing I would say is think about the environment, the physical environment, think about the lighting, because sometimes artificial lighting can be very tiring. Think about the noise levels, but also think about the culture of the classroom and try to develop a classroom culture where students respect and support each other in their learning, so that when they come to class they feel like they're coming into their learning team rather than into a very competitive environment. And I would say if we could think about those three things, so informing ourselves, getting to know our learners and thinking about our own classroom environment, we would create an inclusive situation where everybody can learn regardless of what kind of learning difficulty they have.
Thank you. What are the most frequent problems a teacher can expect, and how those problems can be hindrance to language learning, especially foreign language learning?
That's quite hard to say. I think that probably most teachers will come across students who have specific learning differences like dyslexia, dyspraxia, maybe students on the autism spectrum or who have ADHD. Those are probably most common. Probably about 10 to 12% of the population have those kinds of issues. So almost certainly teachers will come across those students. In terms of what kind of barriers they present for language learning, of course it's very individual. So that's where you have to get to know your learners to know exactly what kind of issues.
Answer number one.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say look out for students who have issues with memory. So they, maybe in the lesson they remember the vocabulary, but the next day it's gone. So issues with memory. Students who need more time to process information. Students who need a bit of support with organising their ideas. And students whose self-esteem is quite low. So their belief, their motivation is low. Those are the key things to look out for, really, and to try and address in terms of language learning.
Thank you. I guess, as everything else in teaching, it's best done in collaboration with other teachers. Who can I turn to? Which other teachers of which subjects to help me teach my students English better?
In an ideal situation, of course, all members of staff would work together. Not many of us work in an ideal situation, but I would say if you can, try and collaborate with teachers of subjects like music and art, where, it's possible that students who are struggling with language learning maybe are excelling in subjects which are more creative and perhaps less rigid. So definitely the arts, music particularly, because music and language learning are actually quite closely connected. So if the student is doing okay in music, that could be a sign that actually they could be successful language learners if we could find the right way forward.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.